Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Clifford, and I am so pleased to welcome you to the 7-year anniversary celebration of Warrior Women Against Poverty. Unfortunately, with the coronavirus still wreaking havoc here in Michigan, we were unable to celebrate with you face to face, but that's certainly okay because tonight it's all virtual. We are coming to you from Peterborough Arms Apartments in Detroit, Michigan, and we have got quite a bit in store for you tonight, all in honor of the wonderful group Warrior Women Against Poverty. Now, because we are virtual and online, you can come back and watch us over and over again. Make sure you tell your family and all your friends, spread the word. Now, let's get on with our program. And again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the beautifully renovated Peterborough Arms in Detroit, Michigan. I wish you were here with us. It looks absolutely fabulous. I am here with two wonderful ladies, Carol Goss, the founder and creator of Warrior Women Against Poverty, and of course, Cheryl P. Johnson. She is the CEO of COTS. So wonderful to see you beautiful women.
Good to be here.
Exciting time.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I know we're in the middle of COVID, so
Yeah.
that's why we're here with you virtually, but 7 years. 7 years. Can you believe it's been 7 years since you created Warrior Women Against Poverty?
The time actually has gone pretty quickly, but it has been a journey with partners and, just really working together. It's been wonderful.
And Cheryl?
And I'm excited, and I think, Carol, you are right. 7 short years, but, let's talk about the impact of those 7 years on our amazing families. It's been phenomenal.
So Carol, let me start with you. Why did you believe 7 years ago it was necessary to create Warrior Women Against Poverty, especially here in the city of Detroit?
Well, I've spent 40 years working on behalf of our most vulnerable children and families. And I always felt that we weren't really doing enough or hitting the right mark to make things really better for them. So after I retired, I went to Harvard for a year. And while I was there, I was working on a project. Cheryl came to Boston and we had dinner. And we both started talking about, we want things to be better for families, for children, but if that is going to happen, we have to do something really different. And so I think that's how the conversation came up. If kids are going to be better, their parents have to be better.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it was like a marriage was formed at that point. I came back to Detroit. Carol, you finished your project there, came back, and then this amazing clarion call went out to some women.
And I know when you were at Harvard, they challenged you to come back to your community and to do something big that would really make an impact on the community, right?
Exactly. So our challenge was to really take on a social justice issue that was important in your community. And really, having worked for so many years and seeing some kids get better, but only incrementally and never in the way that would make them successful in life. And when Cheryl and I had dinner, she was talking about the changes at COTS, and she told this story about a family returning to COTS, coming in.
And then actually it was several families. We were starting to see this uptick of people who talked about experiencing, and then these are the adults in the family talking about their experience at COTS like years ago. And I'm thinking, so this is a full generation, and you're back at COTS with your children. And so, what's now the impact with them? So, we had to do a pause and began to look at what are we doing that needs to change. And part of that was the creation of our passport to self-sufficiency. And what a great opportunity to partner with Warrior Women and to have this marriage where our families get the benefit of wonderful mentorship.
Now, so for people who may be tuning in virtually, because I know the coronavirus is here and that's why we're bringing you this program virtually, explain to people quickly the mission of COTS, and then you can tell us why Warrior Women Against Poverty joined with COTS.
So recently, more than I'd say 7 or 8 years ago, we made the shift to really focus all of our resources on families. And the benefit of that is to have generational impact. That's critical. And so we knew the traditional model of case management, that really wasn't working for our families. And so we recognize families that are have had amazing trauma in their life, are coming through the doors with their kids. Homeless, that's correct, that's the first thing. But how do we have an impact and shift that and address the issue of poverty? And so with the passport to self-sufficiency, there are these 5 what we call buckets or domains. First of all is family stability. Let's address that with our families. Education, career development for our families, health and well-being, and then economic mobility. We know that anyone lacking in any of those domains, the wheel is going to be wobbly, right? And it's going to have an impact on the family. So we have to address this and help them create goals and achieve those goals to have an amazing life. We want our families to thrive and to have amazing lives in our community.
Wonderful. Now, Carol, you decided Warrior Women Against Poverty would join with COTS. Why did you want the two to join forces?
Well, so first of all, COTS was serving our most vulnerable families who really needed help. And I had this belief after hearing this story. One morning I woke up and a mother who was mentally ill had stabbed her daughter and killed her. And I thought to myself, we have to do something about that. And I realized that there were women who could take this on along with me. So that's the putting out the call to all the people who could provide the support. We call it social capital, but the network for women who don't have any, who don't have support in a crisis, who don't understand, how they can be a really strong and good parent to their children, who really, just if they need somebody to talk to, don't have anyone to do that. So, Warrior Women is an all-volunteer organization. And the name comes because we believe that there's a war going on against our children. And those children are in poverty. And so we can be the warriors that work against that. And that's what we've been doing.
And I'm smiling because I remember the first meeting. Right. And to have that room, like to actually pick up the phone and to have amazing African American women show up so strong, all on the same page. Yes. Around this was phenomenal. I mean, it's something that still gives me chills. And if you talk to some of the Warrior Women, they remember just the genesis of that meeting.
What was your message? I mean, I'm sure you got out your phone book, Carol, and you started calling people. What did you say? What was your message to these women to say, hey, I need you to be a warrior and come join us?
So these women had also experienced in their own lives families that were vulnerable. So they are educators, social workers, they are counselors, musicians, lawyers. I mean, they are people that have seen families in distress. So when you put the call out, they were like, oh yeah, I know a family like that. I'm in. What can I do? How can I help? And so, we all came together. But I think the most powerful thing was that we made this commitment, and then we stepped back and said, let's listen to the families. Let's hear what the families are saying they need. And that was one of our first sessions.
Yeah, we created the listening session, and we still have those today. And this is an opportunity where our families tell their story. So we tell the audience, in this room, there is no judgment, right? That's the first thing, no judgment. Come in with an open heart to just hear. And at the very end, if you have questions you want to raise, then do that. But our families are talking about, from their perspective, their stories. And it helps inform us, like how we should respond to them and listening to what their needs are. And those are amazing sessions.
Now, I know this is a journey. So how do you select the women and the families at COTS to join the Warrior Women mission?
Yeah. So we actually have a committee out of Warrior Women that come to COTS, that will come and meet with our coaches and talk to them about who do you think right now is ready for this type of engagement. And sometimes it is a family that's already moved into independent housing, where mom is saying, okay, I've got my head straight right now. I think I'm ready for this type of mentorship. And so it happens. And then you have these meetings where, and sometimes it's organic, where we're in a room together and a mentor and a mentee who've not been introduced just kind of organically come together, and boom, you have this partnership. They want to work together. Sometimes we just look at the needs of the mentee, and the mentor is aware of that and says, I think I can be good for that person.
And these women who join, I mean, they have to be serious, right? They have to be dedicated to the mission of Warrior Women, because you teach them a lot about finances, about never becoming homeless again, things of that nature, correct?
Yes. So it has to be a really strong, committed engagement on our part as Warrior Women, but also on the part of our mentees. And so, the mentees meet regularly with their mentor. And we have group activities as a big group every other month. And the expectation is that they're going to all participate, that they're going to be engaged, and that they've already set goals. So they've set goals in the Passport to Self-Sufficiency program. And our job is to support them in achieving those goals.
Talk a little more about the relationship between the mentor and the mentee. I know you said it happens organically sometimes, but other than that, if people sort of casually come together, how else do you choose the mentor-mentee relationship?
And it really depends on the individual, their needs. So we actually have a form that is filled out by both, and we look at what's the special needs for this particular person. They have children. Oh, maybe this person is someone who is looking at some educational goals. They've not gotten their GED. Oh, there's an educator who really wants to work with this person. And we have some great examples of how those type of partnerships have come together and been successful, by the way.
So now, are all of the women in Warrior Women mentors?
No. So there's a group, and we usually mentor up to 16 women at a time. So there's 40 Warrior Women, and they work in all kinds of different ways to support all of us. So we have a program committee that plans very robust and activities for them every other month. And then we have, Cheryl mentioned, we have the core engagement, and they do training for the mentors and the mentees and all kinds of supportive activities. And so there's lots of roles that our Warrior Women can play. So one of our Warrior Women is a college president, and she's retired, and she can't she says, I can't be an individual mentor, but she has hosted a holiday tea at her house. She had a summer barbecue. And for our families, it was amazing.
And everybody has a role. So I liken it to an army, right? Everybody's like not out there, engaging, but you're engaged in the war together, right? There are some people with different roles around this, but we're all in this war together. And that's what Warrior Women, it looks like.
Now, is your main focus or your only focus mentoring, or is it much bigger than that?
So I think it's much bigger than mentoring is the core. It's the center because it's the individual relationships and support and social network for these families. But we do so much more in terms of education and fun. We have group activities that are really fun with the whole group. So it's more than just.
And I know we often talk about this whole thing of the social network and its importance. And we have some amazing stories where that has like shown up, where our mentees had a need. I mean, an immediate need. And the Warrior Women like march in and we address that need. And the question, I remember we were all together and the mentee broke in tears and we said, what's happening? And she said, I had no idea who was in my corner. I had no idea about this social network. And so we tell them, don't forget that. That's the importance of not only the mentorship, but us coming together on another occasion at one of the mentors' home. The mentee is on the way home in the car with the coach. And she begins crying. And the coach said, you just had a good time. What happened? She said, I've never been in a space where women weren't fighting. There was always some chaos, but to actually see women come together. And I went in her home and she didn't say to me, don't sit on my couch, don't touch that. She opened her home to me. I want more of this.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, really transforming lives, right?
Yes,
and
that's
I can,
amazing.
yes, I can feel it. I can feel it. So tell me this: who are the women of Warrior Women Against Poverty?
So that's a really wonderful question, Carolyn. So they are African American women who have a passion for this work, and for the most part, they are women who've already had very successful or are in the midst of successful careers on their own.
Right.
So they are, as I said earlier, they are teachers, they're educators, they're college professors, lawyers, accountants, they're social workers. They're women who've really done a lot on their own, and they're very committed and passionate about this work. And many of them have already raised children. So they have experience in parenting. And they can, really kind of be a coach to our families about how to parent their child.
And I know this is virtual, so as you're listening to Carol talk about these wonderful women of Warrior Women Against Poverty, you're going to see some of their pictures and their faces roll through. So many amazing women. I know you said 40 strong, but coming together and really doing
And
God's work.
There are also women who aren't done yet. I love that about, many of them who have retired, from their profession, but they aren't done. And they see the great need that our community needs, and they've come to the call.
I want you to highlight, I know we've talked about the mentee and mentor relationship. Do you want to highlight a special one? I know I did a story on Channel 7, and I know one of the mentors gave a mentee a car, which was amazing because she couldn't even, right? She couldn't get to work and she couldn't transform her family without that vehicle. But do you want to share a very special relationship?
So I can talk about one. So here's one of the hidden gems is that we actually had one man. And his name is Brandon, and Brandon today is doing some wonderful. So he was here in the emergency shelter with his children. So he's a single dad, and Brandon began working with his coach, and he heard about Warrior Women, and at that time, one of the members had a husband who said, "Hey, I want to be a part of that. I have something to give too." And so, Brandon, it was so wonderful to see every other Saturday when we come together. Brandon is sitting in the sea of these women. He's always very laser focused on the subject. He's there with his notebook, taking notes. And over time, Brandon finished his master's degree. He got accepted into law school. Recently, and this is real recent, he just purchased a home. He's raising his beautiful daughters. And we had a hand in that. I love that. That's just one of the stories, but it's so unique because it was a man, in this sense, who benefited. And now his children, I always say to Brandon, so the last time we had a conversation, I said, "Brandon, we're talking now on a whole different level." So he was talking about his daughter. And he said, and I've got the age, I think she was 12 or 13, and she's a little different now. I said, let me tell you what happened. So we were now talking as parents, right? And the impact that he has had these seeds, and now he is able to take those seeds and place them in his children and watch them blossom and have a totally different story.
Wow, a warrior man.
Yeah, the warrior man, that's good.
Do you have a special story to share, Carol?
Well, I think that we are going to highlight a mentor and mentee relationship that has been going on for a really long time. It's probably our longest match. And the mentor is a very special person that I've known for a really long time. She's an excellent musician, and she joined us because she felt so passionately about all of this, about this work. And she has had this relationship. I think you're going to hear more about that. She's had this relationship, and I'm going to just say, she has been the mentor and the mentee. She has been there for her every step of the way, every journey. When she's been successful, she's been there. When things haven't been great, she's been there. And it's an amazing example of how just having that person's back. I think Cheryl said, being in their corner, no matter what, no judgment. It's just a wonderful relationship.
So, Carol, that's a wonderful segue. We're going to get to that wonderful story right now. Take a listen.
My name is Brenda Williams, and I am a part of the Warrior Women Against Poverty group. What led me to this group was I actually had to go to COTS shelter, and what led me to that was actually a glitch with unemployment, and I ended up homeless through that. Car was lost, home was lost, and I was pregnant at the time. During that journey, it was a very hard one. It was hard to maintain mentally and physically, but I got through that. And I was making jewelry out of graffiti, and during that process, I was introduced to the Warrior Women's Group. I didn't meet my mentor yet. We were at a function, and I met her there. I think she played the harp that evening. That was the first time I seen her. I enjoyed the harp playing, but the time I met her, I want to say was maybe December of 2017. She came to my door with my coach at the time, Ms. Walker, and we were introduced. My favorite thing that Miss Pat says to me is, "Brenda had me at hello." That is the best thing you could have ever said to me, because hello is the way you greet people, and if that's what I had you with, then I am winning. This is the best person I could have ever met because she's a legend. She don't see herself as a legend, which makes her even more of a legend. She is a harp player for the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, and she was the first female African American to play for the Detroit Symphony, which makes her a legend forever in my eyes. Miss Pat is what I call her. She actually helped me gain my mobility back. And with my mobility, I was able to start my own business. The name of my business is Detroit Beyond. I actually got my LLC for that, and I'm thriving. I'm actually wearing a shirt that I created through that company. So Miss Patricia Terry Ross will forever be a legend in my eyes. And Miss Patricia Terry Ross will be playing a piece for you today called Yesterday by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Brenda, for your lovely introduction. To quote the title of the song I just played, it seems like only yesterday that we had our first meeting and that I met your 4 amazing children. As an educator, I've always thought it important to observe how parents interact with their kids. And it was clear from the very beginning that they loved Brenda and that there was also a mutual respect amongst them all. In fact, she calls them the crew. Since becoming Brenda's mentor, I've seen oldest daughter Kamaria graduate from high school, Gloria become a high school student, son Dequan enter middle school, and baby Elijah graduate from preschool and enter kindergarten. Through life's challenges, Brenda remains a positive person, always willing to find a new path whenever necessary. This pandemic has been life-altering for all of us, and has provided a new opportunity for Brenda to develop her entrepreneurial skills. She began by making and selling very unique sequined masks in a variety of colors. And the way things are going, we'll be wearing masks for a long time. So when you need some mask variety, contact Brenda. Also, she began making t-shirts with the words, "Don't be salty," featuring an updated replica of the Morton Salt Girl with her umbrella. Whenever I have worn it, someone always says, "I really like your t-shirt." In fact, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer ordered one for herself and named Brenda her Entrepreneur of the Year. I am very proud of Brenda and also to have been a warrior woman since the group's inception. And I look forward to continuing our mission in the years to come.
Wow, what an amazing performance and a beautiful relationship with those two women, right? Yes. I mean, which is really what Warrior Women Against Poverty is all about, yes. which is incredible. Do you want to share with us any of the other accomplishments from mentees who have been a part of the program?
Well, we have several who have actually done such amazing work. And I mean, some of this is just hard work. We talk about this being a journey from the start of this, and 7 years later, at some point, the mentees had reached a point where they said, okay, you know, I think there's more, but at another level of involvement, not just as a mentee, but how can we be part of the committees? How can we take what has been planted in us and give it back and move the organization forward? And so we have a few that have gotten to that point where they are very involved with committee work. When you look at some of our Saturday events, they're all behind working and planning that. And to actually see the event happen and look back and go, you guys did this. This is really good work. And that's part, I think, of the growth of it. I look at it as a pipeline for Warrior Women, right? The women who are mentees coming in over a period of time, recognizing that, hey, we have grown and there's something that we can contribute to Warrior Women.
Which is amazing. And you all have special awards for some of those ladies tonight, right?
We're excited about that. We recognize and acknowledge some very special work that they've done, and we're so happy to give these awards to them. Warrior Women Against Poverty is mentoring 16 amazing women at this time. This year, for the first time ever, we are establishing the Warrior Spirit Award. The Warrior Spirit Award is established to recognize individual mentees in the program who exhibit the spirit of warriors. These women are selected for their achievement in demonstrating the qualities of warriors, which are strength, determination, courage, and focus. These awards are presented in two categories: educational achievement and economic progress. The Economic Progress Award goes to, drum roll, Nefertiti Frazier. For anyone who knows Nefertiti, you know she can accomplish any goal set before her. She has never given up and continues to work hard at her catering business and never becomes discouraged. Congratulations, Nefertiti. The Educational Achievement Award goes to Rachel S. Minion. Oh, Rachel has buckled down and she really pushed the envelope. Her dedication, hard work, tenacity, and loyalty paid off to earn her high school equivalency certificate from the state of Michigan. Well done, Rachel. Congratulations to both of you, Nefertiti and Rachel. You are amazing warriors.
You know, it is quite a journey when women take on a role in Warrior Women Against Poverty. And right now, we want you to hear a very special story from a lady by the name of Ethel Rucker. She went through the program and made it through and is doing an amazing job right now. Take a listen.
Hello, my name is Ethel Rucker. I'm one of the original mentees of the Warrior Women Against Poverty. I was introduced to the Warrior Women after being a part of COTS Shelter with my 4 children. It was one of the hardest times in my life, but it was a blessing in disguise. I was able to meet so many incredible women. My mentor was Pearl Ann Pallard for about 3 good years. We was able to do a lot of different things together. She would invite me to her church where me and my children always felt welcomed. She actually took me up to WC3 because I would talk to her about going back to college. So she took me up there to speak with a counselor and to talk about financial aids and the steps I would need to attend the school. But one of the most memorable conversations I had with Pearl Ann was she told me to Google how much I would have to make in a year in order to be above the poverty level. And at the time, when I looked at the amount, it was about $29,000. It seemed unfeasible for me because I was having challenges at work. My children were having challenges in school, and I was having challenges for finding daycare for my children. But that was a nugget that always stuck in my head. I'm proud to say that this year I would well supersede that amount. I have now transitioned from being a mentee to now being on the program committee at the Warrior Women Against Poverty, and I look forward to many more years. The Warrior Women has supported me in my photography and other endeavors that I have had. I have been able to do family shoots. I've done headshots with the mentees and some of the mentors. And I look forward to being on the program committee with them for many years to come. Because one thing about the Warrior Women over the 7 years is like, no matter what you're going through, they will still be there for you. They meet you where you at, and they help support you where you want to go in the future. And I believe the photos, if you go back from the photos, you can see that even with me, how much they have supported me with my photography career and supported me to keep on going with it. Even at times when I wanted to stop, they like, Ethel, we want to hire you for this other event. So I'm like, okay, I can't stop. I will keep on going. So to have that support, which I can honestly say I don't really have in my personal life, but to have like this big family of the Warrior Women, I'm here for many, many years to come. And I look forward to seeing the other ladies grow as much as I've been able to grow with the Warrior Women. I have been able to get really close with one of the mentees in particular throughout the years of being a part of the Warrior Women. Her story has impacted even me in my life. She is so courageous, she is resilient, and I love the relationship that she has with her children. She inspires me to do better every day. Here's Rachel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Minion. I am a proud mother of 8. I am an employee at Coalition on Temporary Shelter. I am honored to be here today with the Warrior Women Against Poverty, their 7th anniversary celebration. It's such an honor, more so because I'm a part of it. I just want to talk a little bit how I learned about the Warrior Women. August of 2014 is when I entered COTS. In February of 2015 is when I was placed in permanent supportive housing. Once I was placed in stabilized housing, a year later, I had a dialogue with COTS CEO, Cheryl P. Johnson. And that was when I first learned about the Warrior Women. My experience with the Warrior Women has been amazing. I'm with a group of women, powerful women, that put together these activities for women to help transform the lives of them and the women and their children. And they will put together these activities monthly, every other month. And we will go and do things like painting with a twist, vision boards, designing ornaments. I mean, just building memories. And it was just such an awesome thing to be able to bond with my children during all these fun activities, going to the zoo together. I mean, we did things that I honestly have never done with my children in a long time, especially with the photos. We took a family portrait for the first time, and I thought that was amazing, and it sits on my mantle, and I just love it. In September of 2018, I was assigned a mentor, Belinda Rains. Belinda Rains and I, in getting to know one another, we had our ups and downs. We had some hills and valleys to climb, but we had like a common denominator, which was my daughter, Rainice Turner, who in 2012, she graduated from Northwestern High School. So when they had a dialogue, when I introduced them for the first time, once Belinda Rains, my mentor, opened her mouth, my daughter said, "I know that voice." And were you a principal at Northwestern? Belinda said, "Yes, I was." And she said, "That's where I know you from, Miss Rains, I'm Rainice." And that was like the key to unlock the door for us. There was no more getting to know one another. We were instantly bonded. Our relationship went from a mentee to mentor to my child. We developed something like a mother-daughter relationship. And she has been there to keep me on task, to keep me focused. We are both she's a part of the Warrior Women. She's a member of the committee. I'm also a program committee member. And I got to that point because it was offered to the mentees if they wanted to participate and being on the committee. It also helped me to build relationships with the mentees. And I just want to say that I am so grateful and thankful for the support, for the tools that I was given, the guidance, the twists and turns that I went through. They were there to put me on the right path. I just want to thank my mentor, who not only is my mentor, she just so happened to be my teacher at WC3. I struggled with getting my GED, and her stand on me. She's tough as a $2 steak, and she refused to let me give up as many times as I wanted to. She said, "You got to keep on pushing. You're going to have to sacrifice sleep, do what you got to do." So I can say that I finally became a GED grad January of 2021. I enrolled in college, so I am now a college student as of February 2021. I have passed my written test to obtain my license, which I will be receiving them at the end of the month. Everything that they gave me, I used it. Look at my life. It's working for me. So now I would like to introduce my life. Cherish is the center of my everything. She's my very unique child, and she's very gifted. She writes poems. She actually wrote a poem for the Warrior Women because she cherished them just as I do. And I would like for her to recite her poem that she wrote. Meet Cherish.
Hi. This is a poem that I wrote during Christmas in 2020. Warrior Women. It's that time of the year we all love. It's almost his birthday, the man above. We'll never forget the sacrifice he made. Our Jesus is someone we'll never trade. As we open our gifts, we feel with joy, happy that our mom got us every toy. Meeting with you all has been so much fun. We thank you, each and every one of you, for all you've done. So this is to our beautiful warrior women and children. Listen loud and clearly. We appreciate you so much and we love you so dearly. As we leave this year behind, we leave with cheer. From us, we say Merry Christmas, warriors, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Cherish. That was a beautiful poem. It meant so much now that it did when you wrote it.
Thank you.
And I just want to say one last thing to my mentor and my warrior women. that I appreciate you all so much. This book has been such an inspiration to me. It has given me an opportunity to write down my thoughts at any given moment, and I cherish this and I carry it everywhere I go. And I just want to say thank you so much. This means a lot.
We know it takes a village to make anything a success. So, during the past 7 years, were there any other people who helped contribute to make Warrior Women Against Poverty a huge success like it is today?
Yes. And I'm going to be really honest, for many of the things we do, we couldn't have done it without them. So let me first say that we've had a really good community partnership with Henry Ford College. Their students have provided childcare for us, and that's been wonderful during our meetings. We've had major donors, 2 individual donors, who just from their largesse, because they believe what we believe, Jim Comer and Alice Combs have made a tremendous contribution to our work, and we are so grateful. But let me also say that the core of our funding comes from the individual warrior women. They each make a major donation every year to support our activities.
You know, this is truly an amazing mission. These women are transforming lives and really transforming the lives of generations of families. So I thank you. I thank you for having me here because it has been amazing to watch. In 7 years, wow, just incredible.
Yes, it has been an amazing evening. It's been an amazing journey. And I really thank you for joining us, Carolyn. You've just made this really special and allowed us to get our message out. And I thank everyone who has joined us this evening. It's been, I think if you believe what we believe, then I hope you'll join us in whatever way that you can. And if you'd like to donate, there is a link that you can click on and make a donation, no matter how small or what size. Join us. We are all in this together.
And we look so forward to sharing some amazing stories. I think one of the greatest successes, which is in our future, is when we're all off the scenes and warrior women are still moving forward, but with our mentees leading this organization. We look forward to that.
Oh, absolutely. Again, thank you all for joining us, and tell your families, tell your friends about this amazing organization, and please join us. Give what you can, but just keep up the great work, ladies. Thank you.